I had a wonderful conversation with a gal who just graduated from uni and is now in work. Incredible All-American beach volleyball player. We had never met before, and she was in tears a couple times during the course of this call because of how difficult the transition out of elite sport is. For those of you who are the elite of the elite, I think you're gonna get this more than anybody else in the world. And that is the feeling of almost godlike power that you get performing at the very best you possibly can. And she described an interesting thing that I think a lot of you retired professionals will get, which is when somebody says, well, why don't you just play for, your local rec team? And maybe it's an arrogance or an ego or something else, but I can tell you from experience, it is really difficult because every piece of your existence wants to jump back into that intensity, into that moment, into that process, into that mindset, that way of being and that way of existing and operating in the world. And when you can't do that, and you walk into an environment that's not conducive to that type of intensity, when everybody else on your team is treating it with the same level of intensity and competitiveness and joy and pleasure and pain and all those things, it's the drug addict thing. It's like you're never gonna get that same high again. So how do you recalibrate your brain? How do you recalibrate your body when you have that sole purpose of the game? It becomes this intoxicating feeling because you have so much clarity and so much purpose, right? All you're doing to train is to win the game. All you're doing is to win a national title. All you're doing is to support your teammates and your coach and your organization, whatever it is, right? It's so singular. And that compared to now corporate life where she works in sales, it's just not the same because it's not as all consuming. And that is why I am super biased towards athletes in business, because I know what they're capable of mentally and physically. And then when you pour all of that into a work scenario or a building a business scenario, et cetera, it's unstoppable. And we had a great conversation about how, potentially some options for her moving forward. Do I think building a brand would be amazing? Maybe. Do I think seeing somebody and going to therapy for this? Maybe. But I think at the end of the day, there's gonna have to be a separation of who she is from what she does, and being very intentional about finding the things that give her even a fraction of that same intensity and drive and purpose. And when she can do that, get out of the way.